Welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat. I'm your co-host tonight, Jamar.
And I'm your other co-host, A.K. Kamara. How you doing, man?
You know what? I'm feeling decent. I don't know. I feel a little shitty tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine.
That Omicron coming through, bro?
No, I'm too vaccinated.
You boosted and vaccinated?
That's right. So the Omicron.
Hey, man, I heard that some studies are coming out saying it's like only 33% effective against the Omicron variant, even if you're vaccine boosted. But
you read that
Omicron is a lot more mild.
Yeah, it's not as serious as everyone thinks. And would you read that of a Republican journal somewhere?
Yeah, Republican journal that came from a South Africa study where Omicron was first discovered by the doctor that discovered it. Yes,
yeah, right.
That's
it's not serious. It's not as serious as.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, no one's died from it.
A guy in the UK just died yesterday.
And he had an underlying condition. Just
like all the other.
I mean, that's what kill you.
Yeah.
Yes, most of the time you don't just die from COVID. You most of the time, if you die from COVID, you have an underlying condition, or you get it. So if you don't have an underlying condition, you get it so bad to where it affects your immune system, and it can kill you. So, most likely if you die, it's because you have an underlying condition,
yep.
or your body or immune system couldn't fight off the COVID, because it can get serious.
Yeah.
Where it affects your respiratory and other parts of the body, and so a hospital stay for 4 or 5 days on a respirator isn't good. When you get to the respirator stage from COVID, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty bad. Which is one of the things that we learned from the beginning of the pandemic to now is you don't really ventilate people unless it's an absolute necessity, because they believe that actually forced a lot of people's immune response to be a lot worse and everything like that. But I am playing. I hope you don't have Omicron, dog.
Not at all. What I wanted to do tonight was something that I do since I've had this show for the last 6 years, is take one show and just let the two co-hosts talk about different topics. We're packed this month full of guests, exciting guests too. But I think just having a show where we can just talk about different things, because it's hard to talk about different topics in a 3-minute montage or monologue in the beginning of a show, and then bring in your guest, because you want to treat them, give them the respect that they're due, to give them all the time that's needed, because 48 minutes goes pretty darn fast.
Yeah.
And so I just always like that. I think that dedicating a show to the host where you could talk about a few things is, to me.
If you're watching this stream right now and you've been wanting to see Jamar and I spar over some current events, political, this is the show. So make sure, no matter what, you guys hit the like button on Facebook. Make sure you hit the share button. If you don't share, then people aren't going to see that you're watching. Make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, again, you hit like, hit subscribe, hit that share button so people can kind of hear what it is that we have to talk about. Going to plug a few things here. We got to pay some bills. First things first, if you haven't done so, please visit our Linktree. Go to Linktree/BRBD. It's connect you with all of our socials. So if you're more of a TikTok person, most of the content that we have on our podcast, we cut into smaller clips of kind of like the best of clips, and we post that on our TikTok. Jamar and I also post some videos here and there of just like our top of mind. So please check out our TikTok.
You're better at that than I am.
I'm better at it. He's going to get going on it. It also connects you to our Instagram, also connects you to our Patreon. If you haven't thought about becoming a supporter of our show financially, please do that. Check out our Patreon account. The more subscribers we get, it actually will pay for our episodes.
Christmas is coming up.
So Jamar and I don't have to come out of pocket to pay and produce the episode. But please do head over to our link tree, find all the different ways to support us, and be able to make sure that we can continue to produce high-quality content. After that, please head over to the WeberMart if you need anything like, what do they got over there?
Mail, grits. Because sometimes you got to have a grit. You know what a grit is made out of?
Of course I know.
Okay.
I know that I'm black from North Dakota.
You may not be a country boy. You may not know. Everybody don't know what a grit is made of.
I grew up in the country.
Well, tell folks what a grit is made of.
I actually don't know.
Oh, Lord. Grit is made of corn. It's corn.
I'm more of a malto-meal guy.
Well, it's got to come from somewhere.
And I don't even know what malto-meal
No, I used to like malto-meal. Listen, I like malto-meal.
No,
grits is corn.
I always tell people, don't get confused. I'm African American. I'm not Black American. My dad's from Africa, like literally from Africa. So we got different traditions, man.
Okay, no. Grits is corn, and so you can get all of that, soda, one-stop shop for your mail, delivery services, all right there at the WeberMart.
WeberMart. And after you're done at the WeberMart, and you're looking through your closet,
you need something to wear.
You need some new gear. I mean, you look pretty. You always do pretty well. If you guys watch the show, you probably seen me wear the shirt like 10 times. But
thanks to my kids.
If you need some new clothes, you need a new handbag, you need some new fly shoes, some Yeezys, please head over to Just Imagine, located in St. Paul, 991 Payne Avenue. Just Imagine, open Wednesday through Saturday, basically from noon until 6 and noon until 7 on Friday and Saturday. Please head out and support David MN Red. He was on the podcast a few weeks ago. Great dude. He's got the newest and freshest young men and women's basically streetwear. So you got Makobe, you got NBA Youngboy, and you have the Frost Originals. So it's the newest and flyest gear that you can get if you're a man or a woman.
That's right.
And also got some local jewelry, handbags, things like that. So please head over to Just Imagine. If you can't get in person, please head over to the website, justimagine651.com, justimagine651.com. And at checkout, enter in BRBD, and it's going to give you a 10% off of your total order. So please do that. So, yeah, man.
And that's what you want. I mean, you want a deal. It's Christmas. You want a deal.
Christmas coming up. I know that especially with the pandemic, a lot of people kind of, you hear these stories about supporting local, and both of these sponsors of ours are local businesses in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. So whatever you can do to take your time to head over to their business or go online again with Just Imagine, please do that and support these local businesses, because they also give back to the community as well. Mm-hmm. So by supporting local, you're not only supporting us as our show, you're also supporting these businesses that are doing a lot in the community.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, and we are very remiss to mention that both these sponsors of ours contribute extremely good to the community. So that's important. We're at 92 murders in Minneapolis. The 92nd murder just happened last night. No doubt we're going to surpass murder. Well, we're December 15th, so we could not surpass Murder-Aplis. We'd have to do it by the end of the month. So we'd have 2 weeks left this month to surpass Murder-Aplis. Hopefully we do not. But the rapid rate of homicides on a nightly, daily basis looks like we may. I'm still troubled of the fact that we're still being more so reactive to the violence. I appreciate the city of Minneapolis dedicating a specific department for the carjackings that are be happening now. So they've dedicated 2 prosecutors and a whole division for the victims, and as well as prosecuting these jerks that are out carjacking. But the problem is what I've been told by one of the inspectors of Minneapolis, that it's a lot of them are juveniles. So They get caught, but they get slapped on the wrist and get right back out. And so they become repeat offenders, habitual offenders, because they're doing it again and again and again. On today's Wednesday, so maybe over the past weekend, I'm not sure if anyone heard about the death of those several. There was 2 kids. It was a van full of, I don't know, 4 kids, 5 kids maybe, stolen vehicle, and they were in a high-speed chase with the police. Minneapolis police hit a pole, split the car literally in 2, killed 2 of the young men. One of the young ladies that was inside the vehicle was in critical condition as well. By the way, my niece knows the young lady, one of the young ladies that was involved in the incident. This is what I'm saying, bro. I mean, these are juveniles, but we've got to stop treating juveniles that commit adult crimes like juveniles. Carjackings are serious. They are holding, well, not in this particular case, but they're most of the times they take these vehicles at gunpoint. So even if you're a juvenile, you're going around carjacking by weapon. Why should I treat you like a 17-year-old kid?
Yeah, I think it's a hard line because, you know, me and you, when we were juveniles, we did probably some things that were highly illegal, and you know, I think maybe there's a difference of code and things like that. Like I never was into stealing. That was never my thing from individuals.
I stole cologne.
But I'm saying
that's what I stole. I didn't. Like, I mean, this
I just was never about jacking people.
Yeah, I swear.
You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, did I go into a store when I was younger and, you know, grab some stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still grab grapes out of, you know, I still steal at Cub and Walmart, you know, out of the fruit section. I mean,
but I think there's this line where you have to ask these questions, and I bring it back to, you know, this individual perspective, that you have to try and understand that there's a disconnect with kids these days and like almost humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like they view like another human being that they don't view them, I don't think, in that moment as another human being. It's like they're just something standing in the way of something that they want. And I don't know how you fix that. I mean, you know, we can talk about, you know, having structure back in the black family and things like that, and we've had some discussions about it. But when it kind of comes down to it, man, it's our society's fault, and I mean that sincerely. When kids are troubled, it's all of society's fault, not just the parents. I mean, yes, the largest burden lies with the parents, but it is up to us as a community to make sure that our children are in a place and have the tools necessary. And so it pushes back to the community. You can't just always push it off on the kids, because I said this a lot when I was on vacation, because I was with two of my nieces and one nephew, so 3 of them. Kids are stupid. Like, their brain is stupid. Like, their brain works in ways, when you compare it to adults, that don't factor in a lot of things. And so it's up to adults, it's up to the community, and I think that we've been failing the kids. But when you kind of circle back to it, there's a crime issue, and we have to find a better way to deal with these kids that have made these decisions to commit these crimes. Because the more that, like you said, we take the soft kind of gloves approach, where you slap them on the wrist and you say, hey, we don't want this kid to have a life in the system, behind bars, lose all their freedom, they're going to keep on going out there unless you change something in that environment. And I wish I had the answers, because if I did, I'd be a rich man, because I'd start an organization and get paid. But yeah, man, I mean, we're coming up on the Murderapolis all-time high. I hope we don't hit it, just because it's just a terrible thing to hit. But, you know, things got to change. At least there's been one positive step, though. Minneapolis City Council has refunded, not given money back, but put funds back in to different law enforcement apparatus. So that's a good step in the right direction, because when you have, you know, this entire conversation since George Floyd was about, you know, defunding, but now at least they've done that. You know, I still will hold them accountable and say they should have never done it in the first place, but that's one step in the right direction. So at least there's some positive things going in that way.
Well, I mean, not losing the police chief is not a positive. I think losing Chief Daunte at the beginning of the month is going to be hard for Minneapolis. Where I think people complain, and now you got to be careful what you wish for. You want the guy gone, now he's leaving. Now you might get somebody. Now they claim that there's a nationwide, nationwide search for the best chief of police. Bull. But honestly, I take that a lot back. You remember now the guy Moose, he's dead now, but remember the guy. What was he police chief at? The guy that captured Malvo and the two black snipers.
DC snipers? DC sniper. Yeah.
Now, he would have been police chief before Rondo.
Yeah.
But instead the mayor offered Rondo the position.
Yeah.
Damn, I just said his name.
I don't know the name.
I just said his name. I just said his name. Anyway, he's dead. He died now about a month or so ago. He wanted the job, and so I think it's Moose, isn't it? No, anyway, I'm sorry. He wanted the job, and we offered it to Arredondo. Great. Well, now you can't offer him the job either. I mean, he's dead. You know me. I have no shame. I want a minority. I want a minority female. I would like to have a black female police chief. We've had the Janae Harto. We've had a white police chief. We had a black police chief. I think we should now have a female black police chief. I think, and I think diversifying a police department that has a bad rap, to me, kind of goes a long way. Just for me, because some people don't care, and doing anything in the police department to usher in anything good, they don't care about. It's because they're anti-police. So I don't know. The Potter trial, bro, is what also makes people apprehensive about supporting police departments across the nation, especially here in Minneapolis and in Brooklyn Center. The Kim Potter trial has been going on now for over a week now, and in fact, I think by tomorrow, Friday, the prosecution is going to rest their case.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they say she's expected to testify maybe Friday. Wow, that's going to be riveting for her to testify. Today, in fact, they had the guy that had trained her 6 weeks prior to her killing Daunte that trained her on her taser, or taser trainer. And his testimony was great. I mean, he said that he found it hard that a police officer, as with the experience that she had, would mistake his or her taser for their weapon. When you know that your taser is on your left side and
your non-dominant side.
That's right, and your gun is on your weapon is on your dominant side. And they also showed video of Kim the whole time. She was standing across from there was that black cop that was there in front of the door. She was standing back the whole time, unclicking her holster. So to me, I don't know how you claim accident now. I didn't believe it anyway, but we give it a little bit of the doubt because she doesn't look like Chauvin. I wouldn't mistake her for being Chauvin. But seeing that video, bro, of her, opening up the gun holster and all that, I'm like, how is that an accident, bro? I really don't get that. I really do find that hard to believe that it's an accident now when you had moments to think about what weapon you were grabbing, whether it's your service weapon or your taser. And you focused on your right side, your weapon. You never did go over to your taser. So I find that really hard to believe. And so some of the testimony that the girlfriend gave, who was there in the car with him when he got shot, and the forensic experts said that the shot that was delivered in the chest, he could have died instantly or like he did moments later, but he would not have lived the way the bullet he was shot and the trajectory went through his heart. So he wouldn't have lived. But the girlfriend gave some riveting testimony, and I just wanted to play a minute of so for you guys.
He was just like, I don't want to demonstrate how he was, but he just had his arms folded kind of, and he's just gasping, just he just wasn't saying anything.
So
I was trying to get him to say a word at least or something, so I knew he had a chance of being okay, but He just wasn't saying anything.
So you're...
But he was alive, so I didn't think he was still alive.
Okay, so you're describing that he was gasping. You were trying to get him to respond to you.
Yeah.
But he couldn't say any words, is that right?
Yeah.
And you were trying to put pressure on him, is that right?
Yes.
At some point, did that stop? The gasping stop and the moving stop?
I don't remember. I think I was pulled out of the car. I don't recall.
Okay. But the car that you were in came to a stop at some point, is that right?
Yes.
So I got another clip here I want to show of the mom as well too, but I think that's got to weigh heavy on jurors' minds and hearts, right? To see the fact that there was someone that was right there in the car with them who tried some type of chest compressions to save Daunte, and it didn't work. And right before her eyes, her boyfriend died after being shot. True, he had a warrant for a weapons violation. I do know that for a fact to be. Now, was going back and forth because I had been hearing different things from different sources. But truthfully, there was a weapons violation on him, but it wasn't even a felony, by the way. So the defense attorney got one of the witnesses to admit that for someone that has a weapons violation, as such, a warrant for that, could you use force? Could you legally use force to stop him or her? And the guy said yes. Mom gave testimony of just how speaking to her son during the FaceTime call or whatever happened, and how she felt. Here's a little bit of it right here.
Step out of the vehicle, and Daunte asked, "For what? Am I in trouble?" And I heard the officer say, "I need you to just put the phone down, step out of the vehicle, and I'll let you know as soon as you step out of the vehicle." And then at that time, I heard the phone either being placed on an object, whether it was, dropped on the floor or placed on the dash, I'm not sure, but I could hear the phone being put down. And then I heard the officer telling Daunte, "No." And I heard Daunte say, "No, I'm not. Don't." It sounded like he said, "Don't run." Daunte said, "No, I'm not." And then I heard them say, "Somebody tell somebody to hang up the phone." And then that's all I heard.
Did the phone disconnect?
It did.
After the phone disconnected and you heard what you described, what happened next?
I was panicked. I called back. It seemed like 100 times, but I believe it was probably maybe 4 or 5 times, and I kept calling. So finally I FaceTimed. I would say I don't know how much time lapsed, maybe a minute or 2. And then a female answered the phone because it was FaceTime. She was screaming. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And she said that they shot him. And she faced the phone towards the driver's seat. And my son was laying there. He was unresponsive, and he looked dead.
As a parent, bro, I cannot imagine that. I don't want to ever experience that. I thank God that I've got some really great kids. Right today, in fact, this morning I just went and picked up my boy from college to come home for his vacation, and took him to get his COVID shot, by the way, too. And I just don't want to imagine that. I had a scare with my son back in 2019, where he was at his friend's house, and they were just sitting in the car, and the assailant from the corner shot at the vehicle that my son and his friends were sitting in. My son was sitting in the back seat. The only thing that kept his friend from being killed was the trajectory of the bullet hit the tree, split it, then hit the windshield, and a lot of glass shattered in his face and, harmed him from that way. But as a parent, I was, rattled, shaken that, someone that does community work could have a child could have been killed, right? And I'm like, who the hell could do this to my child? But folks don't care.
Yeah, watching the testimony, and we haven't really talked about Daunte Wright at all.
Yeah, it's true.
And I've expressed this before, but I am truly, like, when I say I'm pro-life like across the board. Like, I am actually against the death penalty, and and the reason why is because I believe that life is precious. So anytime that a life is lost, I think it's important to understand that I view that as something that's precious. Even if I think that there are justifications, I also still think that loss of life is tragic. Even if it's completely justified, like if, let's say, dude comes up to try and rob someone and like that person gets an altercation and they end up shooting and killing that person, even though that dude was trying to commit harm, I still think that was a precious life.
Sure.
And so
right.
when it comes to Daunte Wright, my position has been that we have to see what a jury says. It seems to me, based off of the testimony, that it was an accident. And I know that the use of force witness today for this prosecution was really strong, because the argument was for some people that not only, and when I say some people, I mean like the defense, was not only was use of lethal force or non-lethal force justified, but potentially use of lethal force would have been justified. So that's kind of been an undercurrent to the trial, but the use of force expert today said no, lethal force would not be justified, and then partially maybe not even non-lethal force.
That's what I was just about to call bullshit.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think in this particular case, as you look at it, as it unfolds, he didn't present that type of threat where you would need a weapon. I mean, the dude was he's like pencil thin. I mean, not that he couldn't be strong, but I mean, he was trying to evade for a reason, right? And so I think to think of drawing, that's the problem with me with officers and minorities and their authority, I think. Or like sometimes to me, they can be like overficious jerks. Keep it real. Because the approach to vehicles a lot of times is hand on the gun first. And I don't know if that's for intimidation or if they think their life is in danger. But it doesn't help the situation, right? If I'm sitting in my car, I knock wood. I don't know when the last time I've been pulled over. I think it was last year. I think. Yeah. We've got to have better methods, right? When the guy took off fleeing, then you should have gotten your vehicle and got behind him, right? Let him get in his car, because first of all, that his car is a weapon. It could harm U.S. police officers. It could harm somebody else.
Yeah.
So if when he gets in that vehicle, back off. But that's what I'm saying about police chases. That's why people get so pissed off about police chases and all that. Because you got to know when to say when. Okay, you see him get in that car. He can't go that far from you. Back off, get in your car, or radio, hey, white Buick down the street.
So the problem is, I agree to a point, but at a point I disagree once the facts are laid out. So what has, basically with the defense not giving their testimony.
And we'll see.
Right? We'll see certain aspects, but with some of the state's prosecution, one of the questions that was asked was, did you know, when law enforcement, after the initial stop, right? Because the first cop pulled over because he saw the air freshener and they saw the tabs expired or whatever, right? And then after that, when they were kind of finding information, they did find out that he did have this warrant out for his arrest, right? And so here's the thing. When you described that scenario, one of the officers during the testimony made a question about, he potentially thought that when Daunte was jumping in the car, could he be diving for a weapon? Because whatever. So this is where I think that's
one of those stop resisting shits.
Right. So this is where I think it gets hard, because, there's right now, there's 3 people that have lawsuits against Daunte Wright's estate. And, one of the persons that is suing his estate basically is saying that 100% that he robbed her at gunpoint and that weapon charge comes from a Snapchat video that Daunte had, and that was part of it. But it did end up getting dropped right after he died. They dropped that actual charge, but the person that was with him actually pleaded guilty, and he was charged with basically with robbery. And so when I only reason I bring that up, like I don't believe that if someone has a criminal past that justifies them dying, right? Like 100%. You might hear that from some conservatives, but I don't believe that. I don't think that justifies anything. I care about what are the facts, what is happening, is the force being used necessary. But I think that the Kim Potter trial, like if her defense was, I meant to shoot him, that would be a whole different conversation, right? Like it really would be. But her defense so far is it was an accident, and the fact that like her partner swapped guns with her, and then after like on video, you know, I get it's a hyper emotional moment. She obviously realized that she shot him because she started freaking out right away, and then basically her partner, he was trying to secure the evidence, so he took her gun, swapped her guns, and then after she said something about like I should end it now, like he went back and he took out her magazine, took the one out of the chamber, and then put the empty cold gun back in her holster. Again, these are things that might feel indicative of true remorse, but the question still is, even if it 100% was accidental, is it important that law enforcement can't make that kind of mistake?
Yes.
So, and so that's the question. So for you, you're like, yes. For me,
and here's the other thing, though, bro.
I don't know if criminally, I just don't know because you can hold someone responsible criminally.
You would be charged criminally if you discharge a weapon and you kill someone. As a civilian, bro, you're going to jail for that. So why should she be held to a different standard? You can accidentally kill. Come on, bro. I know I've got 2 homeboys I know right now that accidentally killed someone.
Sure.
And they're in jail.
Sure.
And one of them was truly an accident. With discharge, the gun fell. He was monkeying around with it. Dropped the gun. The gun went off.
Yeah. But that might be a bad charge. I'm not saying that he didn't get found guilty, but that might have been overzealous prosecutor, things like that maybe whatever the reason is. But like when you ask like if someone accidentally kills someone, I think civilly there is that's like a slam dunk. Like definitely civilly you are responsible. When it comes to negligence, I just think that the standard is high.
But she showed her negligence, bro. You got to watch the video of her.
I know.
So that I don't know how you can think that that's your taser, though, bro. Come on now. You had moments. She was fiddly D'ing with the gun holster.
Sure. Now, if you want me to tell you like what I think, like I can imagine a scenario.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
As a gun owner.
Yeah.
When you feel in danger of, or some heat is about to pick up, do you know where your service revolver is? Or you don't have a service revolver, but do you know where
I always know where my gun is.
Right?
I was, yeah.
So now let's say, you get around some nefarious guys. You keep yours in holster.
Yeah.
Is it a clip holster? Like a police officer?
I have a trigger holster. Like
what do you mean?
I pull like a little clip and then it releases it from, because I have a hard case.
Kind of like a police holster then.
Kind of, yeah, okay. But I don't have a snap on, but yeah. But I would never like approach someone like I'm getting ready to draw, because again, there's a different requirement for law enforcement, and specifically because they're authorized to use excessive force at a higher degree than me and you. Like in Minnesota, our gun rights say that I have a duty to retreat, right?
That's right.
If I felt that like my life was at that point and I'm putting my hand on my holster, my first question is, can I get out of here? And if it's no, then sure I could. But here's the scenario, right? And I think this is probably what the defense. I could be wrong. I'm not Nostradamus, but I think the defense is going to talk about maybe some things that were going on in her life, in her mental well-being, that the fact that like when she realized what she did, she just lost her mind, right?
She looked like she was pretty sad about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying
realized
like,
that
maybe before that altercation started, maybe she shouldn't have even been.
Well, they kind of,
what I'm saying?
They gave you a kind of a glimpse already. They're going to blame his behavior. They asked the defense attorney asked the girlfriend, were you guys smoking marijuana? She said yes, as if that made a damn difference. She said yes. So they then are going to try to make the claim that he was high and under the influence and exhibiting unsafe behaviors.
Yeah.
And so that's what led to, it was his behavior that led to his death.
Now I will say that those are, to me, two separate issues, and I can see how a defense, if they're going to go for the if you want to say the emotions of the jury, just like I think the prosecution with having Daunte's mom and Daunte's girlfriend and Daunte's dad today all testify, because they call it spark of life. You know, when someone dies in Minnesota, they say that you can kind of testify to how important this person was and who they were to you. But I personally, I don't like that, because the reason I don't like it, I think the jury should look at the evidence, and when you start pulling that emotion, I don't like that. I get that's how our justice system works. You do try and elicit emotions from things, but here's the way that I see it, is that there's something that's very true, and I said this about George Floyd. If George Floyd would have literally just gotten in the back of that squad car, he'd be alive today.
Maybe.
If Daunte Wright, when they first put the cuffs on him, he'd be alive today.
Maybe.
But I still think that it doesn't matter in regards to the charges, unless you're trying to say, again, that there was a justified use of force, which I don't know if that's what the defense is going to do. If they do, I think that's a reach. I think that's a reach to go for that. I think that your best option is what it seems like it is. The truth is that it was a true accident. And, you know, Kim Potter probably shouldn't have been a cop at that time. Derek Chauvin probably shouldn't have been a cop at that time. And I think those are the conversations that we need to have after the fact. But we'll see, man, how things work out. I don't know. I sometimes I have a feeling I don't even know how this is going to go. It's like a coin flip. I just hope that people don't lose their mind if it doesn't go the way that they want to. And
they probably will. If she gets found
not guilty,
it's going to be held to tell the captain, no doubt about it.
You know, that when we talk about not having a guest, we're able to kind of have these conversations. One thing that, you know, we haven't talked about, like, ever, and it's kind of weird. We don't really talk about Biden ever.
Oh, please.
We don't. So today, there's been a couple of stories that have came out talking about 2024 and the prospects of Joe Biden running again. So today, The Hill had they had an article based off some polling that was done asking about 2024, and it's kind of crazy. So when you look at the actual, that's the inflation story, Tevin. There's another one. I think it was one before. Yeah, that's it. So this poll, right? It was done by Politico. They found that 67% of Republicans, they want Donald Trump to run in 2024. Not a big surprise. Maybe it's surprising that it's that low, but 60% of Democrats, that's it, want Joe Biden to run for re-election. That means 40%, as of the time of this poll, don't want Joe Biden to run. So I got to ask you, because we never had a question. How do you think Joe Biden's doing as president? Like, for real?
I think Joe Biden is doing fine as president. People are fickle, and I think that Republicans, being constructionists, are doing what they intend to do, and it mixes up what people think that they're seeing. I mean, the man's been in for a year, and he's already done things that help this country. He's giving you monies to help you with unemployment. He's done all sorts of things. So if you guys want to run Donald Trump, I say please. 2 years, 3 years out, I mean, again, people are fickle. Once this infrastructure bill gets passed and people start seeing things change in their lives next year or in 2 months, 3 months, gas is an issue right now. You know, the release of the 50 barrels of oil that he released. Now you start seeing probably about Christmas or after Christmas. In fact, we were up in Monticello. Gas is $2.99.
I like how you say up in, like it's out there.
Well, you know, it's not down here.
For you Minneapolitans, it's way out there.
That's gonna trickle down into the cities. You know, so gas prices will start falling. So people start falling.
You think that Joe Biden's been doing a pretty bang up job? That's your honest opinion.
I think Joe Biden's been doing a very decent job. Absolutely.
I don't know.
I mean, with the COVID rollout,
more people have died.
No,
right?
they haven't.
More people have died since Joe Biden has been president. Yes, they just hit 800,000. They were at like 380 when Trump when Joe Biden was sworn in. So more people have died under COVID. So
sure,
that's weird. It is weird that you don't hear that statistic.
Because it's not true.
It is true.
No, it isn't.
More people have died since Biden has been president by COVID than when Trump was president.
Not here in the United States. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
No,
it's more than 50. It's like 58% of all the people that have died in the United States. 58% have died since Joe Biden's been president.
Not true.
And now, personally, I thought that was a stupid argument when they tried to blame Trump for COVID deaths, but they're not blaming Biden for COVID deaths, which is super weird. But the economy, man.
You don't blame a guy that's been truthful about it instead of a guy that lied about the rollout and lied about the effects that it could have.
But here's the thing: if it was true that Trump could have saved these lives, do you remember?
Well, he could have.
Do you remember when Joe Biden, when he was talking about, he was like, this weekend. When families are getting together, this before the election, he was like, when you look across that table and you see that your uncle isn't there, that's because Donald Trump policy. So it's like, this is before the vaccine came out, right? This is before these therapeutics came out. But after that, so that's why to me, when it was said at the time, I'm like, what do you think? Trump is like Superman? Like he's God? Like he can stop everything?
I mean, you guys make him out to be.
But the reality is that viruses are viruses, and that I think that there's policies. I think vaccines personally have saved lives, right? I think that most people that understand how vaccines work know that it reduces severity and things like that. My beef has always been, and this is why I think that Joe Biden is doing so poorly, is that he keeps pushing these mandates. He keeps on pushing.
That's the only thing that you guys are pissed off at him about.
Well, I mean, I think independent voters are pissed off too. Like in this same poll, independent voters are only supporting Joe Biden right now at 27%.
I know
so
about that.
And I know we're far out, but if Joe Biden only has 60% of Democrats supporting him and only 27% of independents, how's he ever going to win?
If this were September,
then maybe you'd be sweating.
September of 2023, then I might be worried. But sample polls of 600 or 1,000 people never worry me, especially when I'm so involved, and I know that these posters aren't coming around to minority communities. They are not going around to minority communities. It doesn't bother me. And I know Democrats. I'm a proud Democrat. I know that if you guys run Trump, please run Trump. You will see Democrats rally like nobody's business, and we will come back and kick Trump's ass again.
I think that people have buyer's remorse. I think that
that's absolutely not true.
The people that voted anything but Trump are remorseful by all these things that are going on.
What things is going on? What have they not gotten?
Okay, so Tevin, also I had to pull up this story talking about inflation hitting the highest number since 1982.
When did it start? When did it start?
What do you mean when
did inflation start? Did the president inherit? Did he inherit this inflation problem, or did he cause it? Oh, he inherited it.
It doesn't matter if he inherited it or
it does make a difference.
Doesn't.
Because you expect this guy to bring it down.
Yes, I do expect
which he will,
which
is in the two bills that he passed. If you look, the CBO scored it and told you how inflation.
I promise you, this time next year, even if it passes, inflation is going to be double this number.
No, it will not.
Yes, it will. And you want to know why inflation will be double this number?
The Fed chair just told you that. The Fed chair just told you that inflation would not be this high next year.
It will be double this number next year. Yes, it will.
It will not.
And the reason why it's going to be double next year is because we are not addressing that there are still labor shortages that no one is talking about. Joe Biden.
Everyone's talking about people not going to work.
No, but he's talking about, we're creating these jobs. If
people don't want to go back to those lousy jobs that Trump and your party created. People want more higher paying jobs, which is what this president is trying to do.
I disagree with that.
How can you disagree and studies show?
Let's pretend I agree with you. So what? So if people aren't going back to work, what is it that the Biden administration is doing to allow businesses to hire more people? Because this is the problem. So when
they're giving them incentives, they give businesses plenty of incentives, especially here in the state, to build, to hire companies. What do you mean? This administration has the back of businesses.
So tell me, is everybody, because if inflation's at 6.8%, that means that the money that you had, unless you got a 6.8% raise, then you actually have less money in your pocket today than you had a year ago.
I can't tell.
You can't tell?
No.
Do you not go grocery shopping?
Yeah. So I'm supposed to believe that since Biden has been in office, that the price of goods has been. Bro,
it has increased significantly since Biden was president.
Underneath the Trump administration.
No,
stop playing, bro. Why don't you guys call a spade a spade? Because the price of goods has been going up for the last year and a half.
Because it's weak leadership coming from
You're right.
Biden.
It was weak leadership coming from the guy that we had before, and now we got a guy that's going to really lead.
When we had the lowest gas prices we'd had forever.
That had all to do with Trump.
Absolutely, because of positioning.
And so high gas prices have to do with Biden.
Yes.
Explain to me how.
Specifically,
I'm turning my mic off.
Yeah. Specifically, Joe Biden has sent signals by ending Keystone Pipeline that in the future, there's not going to be enough demand to meet the supply. I mean, the opposite. There's not going to be enough supply to meet the demand. And so if people are speculating about what's going to happen in the future, which I don't like energy speculation, but it is a true fact you have to live within, then there's not going to be enough supply. So people will start to hoard fuel and gas now, and that causes the price to go up. When Joe Biden releases this emergency reserve of 50 barrels that's going to give us enough energy use for 2.5 days, that's actually another weak indicator that we don't have enough supply. You will continue to see energy prices go up. The only time that you will see a decrease is when our inflation continues to go up and it's so expensive that people stop using, which is not what we want to have.
Which is highly unlikely. Never going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Oh, people are going to stop driving?
People will start driving less, yes. When gas prices
Dude, we just had what the hell do you be talking about? Do you watch any news? Do you read anything? We just had we just had the highest travel rates in 2 years for Thanksgiving, and it's the same thing for Christmas.
And gas prices are going up still.
So if gas prices, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways, AK. If gas prices are so high that people are going to stop traveling, but they're traveling, I don't understand that.
Because they're not as high as they were even back during Obama's years. Bro, they're getting to that point, is my point.
They're still at $3.19.
And it's a runaway train.
They were $3.19 for Thanksgiving.
That $3.19 is not the same as almost $5 when it was during the Obama
It's $3.19 now.
I know that.
So we had the highest travel rate in 2 years.
But this isn't the highest gas, is what my point. But the gas prices are not going to go down. And this is what I'm saying is that with inflation as high as it is, and it's going to continue to go up.
Sure enough.
With gas prices rising, the cost of what it costs you to live your life is going to go down because you're not making more money. And so in order to make that same amount of money, you're going to have to be paid just to keep pace.
And what did Trump do that was so better? What did I see increasing my pay and gas? What did I see? Yeah.
So under Trump, all Americans had the largest growth of actual personal wealth and income.
Oh.
Of any
all white
president,
folks, right?
And black people too.
No.
Yep.
No.
Black people specifically.
Why don't you read Ebony? AK, it so bothers me. It so bothers me that you read these white journals. Bruh, when it comes to minorities, they are not knocking at the doors of people that look like you and me. I don't understand why you don't get that. I live in a really good neighborhood. I don't see one fucking poster in my neighborhood, bro, ever. I get them on my phone. My parents don't get them. You don't even get them. So tell me, how can you be so willy-nilly about these, especially when it comes to black folks? Except for when there's a black magazine that know how to go out and get the votes, or know how to get the feelings of black folks by knocking at their door, calling their landline, or reaching them through this.
I'm not talking about polling. I'm actually talking about real data. So
that is real data.
No, I'm saying the real data of money that's in bank accounts, right? Things like that.
And it hasn't went up for black folks.
Yes, it has. It literally went up during the Trump years.
I'm going to send you this Ebony. I'm going to send you this Ebony article because it's crazy how a black magazine could tell you how wealth for black folks has not gone up.
Yes,
it did not go up.
Discretionary income for blacks went
up. It did not go up.
It did.
No, it did not. Okay, bro. I really be tripping about how you just tell me. And I mean, how many? Bro, I'll take you into black neighborhoods and minority neighborhoods, and let's go ask them. Matter of fact, let's do that next Wednesday. Let's take a camera and go into black and minority neighborhoods.
And let's ask doing better now or during Donald Trump.
Let's ask these folks how they did from 2016 to 2020. Let's ask them how they did.
And they're going to tell you that from 2020, not because of Joe Biden, that they've done worse because we're in the middle of a pandemic. But I'm saying that the actual recovery efforts by Joe Biden are feeble.
Oh.
They aren't doing
same thing Donald Trump would have did.
They aren't doing not the same thing at all.
He didn't want to do a stimulus package?
Of course
he wanted to do one for 2,000. What do you mean?
I'm not talking about the stimulus package.
That's what any president would have done.
I'm talking about growing jobs. I'm talking about keeping inflation lower.
I thought you said government doesn't grow jobs.
They don't grow jobs.
So then how you wait a minute, bro? Wait a minute. You're contradicting yourself. So how isn't Joe Biden growing jobs, but government doesn't grow jobs?
He's creating policies that are prohibitive to growing jobs.
And policies such as taxes. Like that's like the biggest thing, right? Is the tax policy under Joe Biden, the corporate tax cut, right? That
Trump put in, Joe Biden got rid of.
So he should, because he was incentivizing the rich bastards to you want to talk about hoarding money? He was incentivizing the rich bastards to hoard their money.
Coming and that are again exacerbating to our already our labor shortages that we have.
Sure,
these are things that directly affect.
Folks don't want to go back to those penny ass jobs the Republicans thought.
Somebody better go back and do something.
No,
otherwise we're going to be paying $10 for a gallon of gas.
You got to create jobs that pay better. That's what you got to do, and you incentivize businesses to do that. You incentivize businesses to do that.
So along with that story, that 6.8 inflation, another story came out showing what the actual cost of goods, like the people that actually manufacture, went up to 9.8%. So if I'm producing something and the cost of me, the company that's making something, went up by almost 10%, and inflation for the cost of everything else that people are buying is going up by almost 7%. How can I afford to give people, right? If the cost of building stuff costs me 10% more, how can I give people a raise that's higher than actual inflation?
So what I should do then is incentivize and lower the taxes on those businesses and say, oh, I know if I lower your taxes, you rich, greedy bastard, you'll hire more people. That never happens.
That's one way. Yes,
it doesn't happen.
That's one. But
you guys with your trickle-down economics, it doesn't work.
It absolutely does work.
It does not work.
When people have more money in their pocket.
It isn't because you incentivize businesses to hire, because they don't hire.
Yes,
they hoard the money, bro. What are you talking about?
How many rich people do you know that just put money in their bank and they just like swim around like,
Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah.
All of them.
None of them. They want to take that money.
What do they do?
Invest it to make more money. Because people that have money want more money. And how do you make more money? You invest in things. And when you invest in things, it creates jobs. That is why it's not because like rich people are benevolent and they just want to create jobs. They want more money, so they invest their money. So if you're a capital group, you're going to go and you're going to say, hey, why don't you come and invest money with me? And if you have a bunch of money, you're going to sit on it 100%. If you are afraid that there's going to be high regulatory action, if there's going to be higher taxes, you will hoard your money.
Then well, first of all, come on, bro. Don't give me that. Democrats are not going to allow businesses to just slide by without paying their fair share. So what you just said is null and void. Because
but we have to be competitive. When China,
you are competitive.
When China,
businesses just want to cry and keep the money, and you Republicans want to help them.
When China is saying, "Hey, why don't you come to China?"
Go to China then.
Right, and then
go to China.
And then what?
Go to China.
Then you lose American jobs.
Then there are other places that are other jobs that are created.
And then you can't be competitive with American jobs. And that's what Trump did when he cut the corporate tax rate. When he cut the corporate tax rate.
He brought so many jobs back.
Yes. Between cutting the corporate tax rate and putting tariffs on things that I actually was against.
Because those tariffs
the tariffs. I was for the corporate tax rate.
Didn't harm any businesses. Didn't do anything to destroy jobs. It didn't destroy any jobs.
It created a disincentive for American businesses to ship the jobs to China and then send their product back to America.
Right. Because it
disincentivized
and it created a lot of jobs too. Yeah.
Yes, that actually incentivized American businesses to create jobs and keep the jobs that they were going to create in China and in other countries in America.
I don't know where you live in, because that shit you're talking about never happened.
That's literally what happened. That's why we have the lowest unemployment.
The tariffs crushed jobs. The tariffs crushed jobs.
Crushed bad jobs,
no.
Yes.
What's a bad job?
A job that's in China is a bad job.
If it's here, it's not in China. How's it a bad job?
No, that's what I'm saying.
It crushed jobs here.
It did not crush jobs here. Absolutely not.
Steel took a huge hit. Bro, do you know anybody in Pennsylvania?
No.
Do you know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Yes, I know people in Pennsylvania.
What president? So did Trump win or lose Pennsylvania first time?
The first time he won.
So the second time, did he win or lose it?
He lost.
Okay. So if he did so great and those tariffs didn't harm anybody, what's Pennsylvania known for?
Wait.
I'm asking you simple questions, bro. What's Pennsylvania known for?
Steel.
Okay. So if he did such a great job and those tariffs didn't harm anybody, how did he lose Pennsylvania again?
Did you look at the vote turnout?
Oh.
Did you look at the vote turnout? The areas that he lost had higher voter turnout than ever before. The counties that have all the manufacturing and oil,
why do you think
Trump
that was?
won by larger percentages.
Why do you think that was? Because those people.
Because
did you see any of those interviews? Those folks have lost their jobs.
They
lost their jobs.
No, was not those people. The people that voted for Joe Biden hated Donald Trump, because as much as Republicans hate to admit this, the reason that Donald Trump lost is because the unfavorability of people, how much people disliked him. They disliked him so much. that they went and they voted, and to me, it was because
and he lost jobs.
It was because of the media. It wasn't because of
it's
losing
not because
jobs.
Of the media, it's because of who he is.
It was because of the media.
No, it's because of him.
100%.
No,
was
because
the
of
media.
him.
And they created such a strong.
He created such a strong.
Well, he added to it. He didn't do himself
he
any favors.
did it himself. What other president has done that before him?
People didn't vote for Joe Biden.
Oh,
they voted against Donald Trump.
That's not true.
This is why we have the problems.
And if what you're saying was so true, and if what you're saying is true, then that's what you guys need to think about. If they were voting against, if they were voting not for Joe Biden, they were voting against Donald Trump, then that should tell you, Trump, and everybody else that likes him something else, that they were saying, well, anybody, I'll vote for Donald Trump, or excuse me, Donald Duck, than Donald Trump. That should tell you guys something. So if you guys want to run this guy in 24, I beg you to, because you will see everybody rally around this guy. Like, we're supposed to try hate again? That's what the new mantra will be. Try hate again. It worked the first time.
Here's what Trump needs to do. He needs to keep doing what he's doing. He's staying,
I think so too.
Staying relevant, but watching.
I think so too.
Watching as people start to turn on the Democrat Party. 2022 is going to be a really good snapshot. You're going to see the craziest red tsunami that, they thought there was going to be a red tsunami in 2018 and it was not a red tsunami. You're going to see it. And all Trump's going to do is be like, I'm back, baby. And people are going to be like, mean tweets and whatever.
First of all,
please come back.
Let's make sure we bet. And secondly, what you're saying, even if it's true, wouldn't be surprising. Historically, every single president, from George Bush Senior.
Well, what if Biden doesn't run again?
He told you he was running again.
Well, I mean, what?
So every president from him
we got time.
during the midterms.
We got time.
During the midterms, lost gang of seats.
Now, how would you feel if Joe Biden decided not to run?
He's going to run again.
Let's just say that he doesn't, and Hillary ran.
Well, Hillary wouldn't run. You would have the vice president run.
I mean, do you think that Hillary would beat Kamala in a primary?
I don't know. Probably Hillary would not. Probably,
Hillary
would not.
Hillary read her acceptance speech on.
I loved it.
I loved it. Kamala Harris. Kamala. Her approval ratings are way worse than Joe Biden's. They're like in the 30s, bro.
I don't know why you so hung up. How come you guys are so hung up on this guy's approval rating, but you never got hung up on Trump's approval rating?
I talked about Trump's approval rating.
The only guy that in polling never had a approval rating above 50%.
Let me ask you this: do you believe that the media had bias against Trump?
I think Trump created enemies.
Yeah.
But he did that before he became president.
So my thing is, because he had bias against the media, and I would say that both Kamala and Biden have media love. So if the media comes out and they're not loving, that's when I know that things are bad, bro. When the apparatus that doesn't love Biden.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Fox News doesn't love Biden.
I mean, that's a surprise.
But I'm just saying, because the media loves him, when they then they have to run those stories. It's like things must be not too good, man.
Things are just fine. I mean, the man is a year in. I don't know. President Obama went through the same thing, especially when he was thinking about the Obamacare package. I remember 41 going through this. 41. I mean, I don't mean to say it like this, but not thank God, but it was 9/11 that saved his presidency. To be quite honest with you, he'd have been a one-term president too. But
41.
No, 9/11.
Oh, 9/11.
9/11.
Okay, yeah.
Shared. I mean, I think saved him. But I listen. I don't think that this is going to be as big as you guys think, because Republicans can't get out of their own way. You never will. And Democrats will lose some seats, but Democrats will hold on to more seats. I think long as we hold on to the House, or if we gain more seats in the Senate, I'm fine with that. You want to have, if you might lose one of the House or the Senate. And I'm okay with that. You don't need all three.
And you're gonna lose the House and the Senate.
I highly doubt that.
And you ain't gonna do nothing. And Joe Biden's hands are gonna be tied.
Let's make sure we bet that.
I mean, if things continue to go the way that they're going.
I mean, bro. I mean, it's new. People are upset about this COVID thing. Some are upset about mandates. Some are upset about not finding the shots. Some people are still pissed off about the rollout from Trump, from Biden. So it's a lot of different things. But when people hear the word Trump, watch how Joe Biden's approval rating goes up. Hell, if I decide to run next to Trump, watch how my approval rating goes up. Okay? Please run John Trump. Bro, damn, time was up already.
Yeah, man, we had a good show. Hopefully people that were watching able to, get something out of hearing Jamar and I spar here about a couple of these issues. We have some great guests coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Marshall Warfield and
we
got some really good guests. I can't wait to have her on.
Yeah,
I can't wait to have her on.
That'd be dope.
She's funny. She's.
You know what? I wanna hit some of these comments. We got some folks
we got
that have been commenting and just kind of address, because I know last time we kind of ran a little bit short on that. So just want to hit up some of these. So my wife has said you guys should talk about Daunte Wright and Kim Potter trial. So we did that. So that's good. We had some conversations about that.
Thanks, Bethany.
Also have a couple things here too. The whole Kim Potter case.
Thank you, Katie.
Just sucks. I try not to think about poor kids and the husband, but it's hard. And the accident theory is hard to imagine because the taser's on the left. And even if they prove it was an accident, you still have to answer for your mistakes. And that was Rachel Williams.
Rachel, now tonight you and I agree. You and I agree tonight, Rach. Rach, can I call you Rach like we're friends? Rach. Thank you, because you're absolutely right.
My wife said, I have to think after George Floyd trial that officers around the nation have been under the microscope and have long-term effects on traffic stops and how they respond. It's not an excuse, but a retraining in how officers respond to similar situations. I sensed real remorse from her, and that's kind of what I was saying too.
I didn't sense remorse from her, but I think that you could be remorseful for killing someone. I mean, I don't think that she's not Chauvin. I honestly don't think that she's Chauvin. But I think that, bro, sometimes you still have to pay. There's consequences for your actions. And even though it was an accident, there's still consequences for it.
Rachel said, I personally have been pulled over 3 to 4 times for expired tabs. But that pine tree hanging from the mirror is BS. I see people all the time with BS hanging from their mirror. My personal favorite is mask hanging in there.
Yeah. You gonna put me over for that? Race it is. All right.
We got Katie say that policy of saying COVID was no big deal was the problem. Said Hillary won't run and good show, guys. So, yeah, I mean...
She won't run. She's done. Let me just, for the record of that, she's done. I still don't understand why people have a great disdain for Hillary. I love the lady, but no, she would not run again.
So I always try and parse this, like try and make this make sense. There's going to be people that are on the fringes, right?
Donald Trump.
You got fringe people on the left,
sure,
right, that just have some just kind of out there beliefs. We got a lot of people on the right, and I think it's there's more people on the left that are more fringy than people on the right.
No.
And the people on the left actually have institutional powers. The people on the right, they just, kind of have
they're just rich and crazy.
Spots.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that the conversation about, people minimizing COVID, Donald Trump shut down travel, right? So I don't think he thought it was minimal. Donald Trump did talk about, though, that he... that this was being used
he hid it.
Hoax.
Okay, he knew about it. He hid it.
He didn't want to destroy the economy.
Oh,
man.
Get the hell out of here!
He did not want to destroy America.
So
baby.
so people. How many times have we talked about this before?
Yeah,
people make the economy. People make up the economy. So if they're dying, there's no economy.
But if people panic and then they stop doing everything,
I'd much rather have people panic, seriously, than because. You could tell people this is a fluid situation. Just be honest with folks. We can deal with it. Same thing I tell about the superintendent here with pitting. Listen, we'll be going all day about this. I think leaders have to be honest. I don't care if it's Democrats or Republicans. You got to be honest. Let us deal with that. If you're saying, listen, you got 2 days to live, well, shit, I need you to tell me the truth. Leaders have to be honest about COVID, about the rollout, about the effectiveness of it, what it could do, and just let us decide.
You know what? That's the most conservative thing that I've heard you say.
It's not conservative.
And the reason
it's not conservative.
The reason I say conservative is I think most people, they want to be told the truth because we believe that as individuals we can make choices about our own life.
But sometimes we can't. That's why they invented seatbelt laws too.
That sounds like the Democrat that I know. But
you can't. Sometimes you do have to protect people from each other.
No,
absolutely
not from themselves. No,
yes,
unless they have mental health
some crisis
or crisis issues.
Hey.
But if someone chooses,
you wear your seatbelt.
I mean, you honestly want to know why I wear my seatbelt?
No, but do you wear it? I don't want to honestly know.
Yeah. But the reason I wear
that's
it
a law that was protected
because it dings. And it's annoying.
Sure. But that was a law.
And after the third time that I got a ticket, I said, "This is cost prohibitive." But if I didn't have if there wasn't a seatbelt ticket, and if it didn't ding, I would never wear my seatbelt.
So when you get in an accident, you die.
Well, if God wills it, then God wills it, dog.
And then we'll say, hey,
but
he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
what I won't do is I wouldn't turn around and be like, it's the government's fault that you didn't make me wear a seatbelt, because people have to make risks about their lives, man. I smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes, bro.
What did the government say about that?
Well, if I'm in St. Paul, I can't buy menthols, and my cigarettes cost $10 a pack. So the government's telling people what to do.
And you got to be 21.
And you got to be 21.
Damn right.
And it's ridiculous. Because
it's ridiculous. We should let kids at 17 and 16 kill themselves.
You should let adults buy cigarettes for cheaper if they want to. Like it's
Minnesota
ridiculous.
doesn't sell cheap cigarettes anyway. You got to go down south.
Well, I'm saying in St. Paul, like you can't even give coupons, bro. It's illegal to give coupons. Your pack of cigarettes in St. Paul, through the city council passed, can't be less than $10.
Well, it is St. Paul. I mean, come on.
St. Paul. It's wild, man.
You just says a lot.
It's wild.
It's St. Paul. Okay. It's St. Paul. Yeah, bro, we got. Yeah, I mean, damn.
I know. We
forgot to get things off my chest. We'll get back to that next week.
Next week.
And I want to say, thank you guys. The year's almost over, and y'all have been rocking and rolling with us, and we appreciate you guys for hanging in with us. Y'all have been. I mean, without them, we would be nothing. The show would be nothing.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that watches us, that shares our links. Make sure that you guys, the best thing you can do if you're thinking, I wanna think about Jamar and AK and Black Republican, Black Democrat, what we can do for this holiday Christmas season, and subscribe on the Patreon account. Go to linktree/BRBD. Make a contribution. You can do $1. You can do $1,000.
Don't do no
That money goes 100% to produce episodes.
It does.
None of it goes in my or Jamar's pocket. It goes 100% to produce a show. Any money that we get above the cost of an episode, it goes to produce the show. So it pays for episodes.
These camera crews that are behind the cameras, our great producer who's probably get the hell off the.
But we thank you guys so much for supporting us. Continue to like and share the video clips that we make. Follow us on our other social media.
And make sure you tell your friends about the show. If you like the show, you like AK, you like Jamar, you like the way we go back and forth the banter, you like the guests, make sure you tell your friends, please, about the show every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You can stream. If you miss it, please.
8:05.
8:05. No, I like saying 8:05. That sounds so proper. 8:05 Eastern Time. Central. We're Central Standard Time, aren't we?
We are Central.
Standard Time.
Don't tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern. You'll miss us.
You'll be 9 o'clock. You'll be in New York time. Again, thank you, AK, bro, for hanging in there with me as a co-host. And I want to thank our producer, Tevin, who's, probably the greatest producer I've ever worked with.
Makes the show happen, man.
He makes the show happen, absolutely. So thank you, AK. Thank you guys. Thank Tevin. Appreciate you guys. I'm Jamar.
I'm AK Kamara.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace. Be safe out there. We're supposed to have these
watch the
winds.
storm. Be careful.
Peace.